سلام دوستان عزیز، نوشین نیکفرجام هستم در برنامه دانش و آگاهی در تلویزیون عصر امروز. امیدوارم هر جای دنیا که هستین خوب و خوش و سر حال و سلامت نشستین، به برنامه ما نگاه میکنین. امروز مهمون بسیار عزیزی دارم، خانم شانل حلیمی. سلام، احوال شما؟
Merci. Thank you so much, Noushin June. I'm going to speak in English, as you know. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you عزیزم. برنامه به انگلیسی خواهد بود همینطور که میبینید و بازم عذر میخوام برای اونایی که نمیفهمن فارسی یعنی انگلیسی، ولی شانل چیزایی که میخواد بهمون بگه بسیار مهمه، برای همین از الان دارم ازتون دعوت میکنم که حتما این برنامه رو با دوستان و آشنایان، به خصوص کسانی که انگلیسی زبان هستن، به شراکت بذارین. برنامه از این لحظه به بعد به انگلیسی خواهد بود. So welcome again. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you for having me. You know, I was thinking, who knew? I met you 10 to 15 years ago at the hair salon, if you remember.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And because she was late, we would sit around and talk. And I'm sure we would have met otherwise, but
of course.
I'm so glad that we met, and who knew we would be here all these years later doing this, but I'm so excited.
Me too.
So
and
excited.
I know your mom, and I actually at the hair salon I saw your sister.
Yes, I
your
heard.
little baby sister.
I heard. You know the whole family.
Yeah. So I'm going to read your bio.
Sure.
So our audience will know who Chanel is, and then we start talking about whatever you like to talk about. And I know what you want to talk about, but you know, we'll add to everything.
Yeah.
So, Chanel Halimi is a licensed psychotherapist in private practice in Los Angeles with 13 years of clinical experience, and she looks so young, so you cannot believe it. It's like 13 years is a lot. She works with adults throughout California with a special focus on recent college graduates ages 18 to 25 that they're navigating the transition into adulthood. Adults in their 20s and 30s who are facing the challenges of early adulthood, and individuals of all ages seeking greater clarity, purpose, and fulfillment in their careers. Her warm, collaborative approach combines traditional psychotherapy, solution-focused techniques, and reflective writing exercises to help clients create meaningful, lasting change. Chanel is also a public speaker on mental health and personal growth, and you can learn more about her by visiting her website or Instagram that is written under where she's sitting right now. So, let's see. You are, sort of narrowing it down to 18, 25, and 20 to 30s. You want to just talk a little bit about it before we go to the main question?
Yeah. So, honestly, actually, the first thing I want to say, because I kind of know who the audience is that I never planned to become a therapist. This was not on my radar. Mm-hmm. This was not part of my plan. This was not part of my list. This is really a story of you plan and God laughs. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say I grew up with the same stigmas, the same stereotypes against therapy. In fact, when I started to become a therapist and people asked me what I was doing, I would say I'm getting a master's in psychology, and I would hope they wouldn't ask me to do what, because I even developed a stutter telling people I was going to become a therapist, because 15 years ago when I got into this, there was still so much shame and stigma. So, you know, I recognize where we're coming from. However, I really feel I was put on this earth to share this message and share this message in particular with this community, which is why I'm here doing this. It's not the most comfortable for me.
Yeah.
In terms of why I work with this age range, it really has to do a lot with my own story.
Okay.
Just to give you a little bit of the story, I graduated from UCLA. I finished school a year earlier than I was supposed to, unexpectedly.
What did you study, by the way?
I studied political science. So really psychology was not...
Because you said you knew my niece, and she's a naturopath now.
I think she also was a poli-sci major. Yes.
Exactly.
We walked in graduation together.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So, I mean, my plan was maybe to become a doctor, a lawyer, do business, honestly, kind of the traditional things. But deep down, I always wanted to be a teacher. And when I graduated, I thought, give me a couple of months. I've worked so hard my whole life in school. Come September 1st, I'll let everyone know what I was doing. September 1st rolls around, and I had no idea what I was doing. I once read a statistic that as of 2016, there are an estimated 500,000 types of careers. And at the time, the message was very much about discovering career, passion, and purpose. And nobody really got the tools, not in school, not now. Nobody really teaches you how to follow your passion. So anyway, to make a long story short, I was really struggling. And somebody introduced me to a therapist. Somebody actually one day, American lady, said to me, I have a colleague, she specializes in career transitions, she's a therapist, maybe she can help you. And I was 21 years old, and nobody went to therapy, and if they did at that time, nobody talked about it. I didn't tell anybody. I called this lady, and I even said, I tutor, I can't really afford it. She said, what can you pay? Just come in. And it really changed my entire life.
Wow.
And I fell in love with the therapy work. I fell in love with being a client. And a couple of years in, I said this would be a very meaningful career. And I've never looked back. And this age range is very near and dear to my heart because I went through my own quarter-life crisis. I had a hard time in my 20s discovering who I am, what I want, what's important to me, what do I believe in, what do I value. And I know the story is not unique. A lot of people suffer post-college finding themselves. And that's how, and I think, as you mentioned, because I look young, I'm going to get that age range of 20s and 30s. And then my other specialty is helping people discover career, passion, and purpose. And again, that has to do with, that's part of my story.
That's amazing. All right.
Thank you.
So you like to talk about the best investment in your life is?
So the best investment you'll ever make. I actually got the title of this topic from an Instagram video. I saw a young man in the community, actually. He works in tech AI, something like this. And he once made an Instagram video, and he said, the best investment you'll ever make is not real estate, is not Bitcoin, is not stocks. He said, the best investment you'll ever make is the one you make in yourself. And he's not even a psychologist, and he was saying this, and I was so touched. And I understand that when you make an investment in yourself, even if it's not what we were raised to do or taught to do, everything in your life will flourish. Your romantic relationship, your relationship with your children, in your career, your hobbies, your body image. The work that you do on yourself really is the foundation for living a more meaningful and successful life. And it's just such a passion of mine to talk about this subject. So thank you for allowing me to talk about this one.
So I saw actually your podcast with
Rabbi Guzik. Yes.
And are you continuing it? Do you have a special podcast that you are doing, or
not yet?
You just do talks here and there,
not yet.
Speeches, or
yeah. So I used to do public speaking, as you know, with like the EDA organization, maybe about 7-8 years ago, and I took some space and time to develop myself in a way I wasn't emotionally ready, I think, for what it means to be online and do these talks. Anyway, I don't have any formal podcast or my own channel yet. Hopefully somebody picks me up, but for now I'm just looking around, spreading the word. I'm trying to do a lot more on Instagram, but I post on LinkedIn, I post on YouTube. I really just want to share and spread light and help people. People say even if it's one person, I understand the ripple effects, right? One person helped me, and as a result, I've helped people, and that's a ripple effect. So that's a little bit about me and public speaking. I do have 2 podcasts coming up next week, but other people's podcasts I'm going to be on, and we're going to just kind of keep going from there.
Perfect. So you're talking about the importance of knowing and identifying who you are and how we feel.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I'm going to first start with, many people don't recognize that, this because you also work in this field, a lot of the voices in our head that tell us how we should live our lives, what is wrong, what is right, what to believe in, what to value, how to live your life, where to go, what to eat, what to wear, all of it.
Chattering monkey.
It's a lot of how we've been socialized. And I think especially in the Persian community, it's not the only community, but the volume of the outside is very loud.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are living not fully authentically themselves,
True.
not really with much awareness of the voices that are guiding them.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I don't do this in any particular order, but something I like to raise attention to is that understanding whose voices are dictating your life. You have to recognize whose voice it is, turn it down, and then start to build and turn up your voice so that you'll have a more meaningful life in existence. So that's one thing that I think is very important. The other thing is, and I always laugh when I talk about this, because before I became a therapist, even when I was starting my own therapy, if anyone wanted to talk to me about how I felt, because it's so taboo, it was even taboo 20 years ago, not even in the community, even American culture, I would have been the first person rolling my eyes. Like, feelings, haha, because that's how I was socialized. That's what I was taught was right and wrong. And recently I did a couple of webinars. I do these for free webinars online.
I know. I mean, like, parenthesis, you should really record them. I was going to call you and say that.
Okay.
I record all my Zoom sessions, no matter what they are, because you can go back to it, and if one of your attendees or whoever can't make it, or if they want to review it,
that's a great point.
Because it seems like you're teaching them what to do.
Yeah.
So that would be a great asset to just send it to the different people. No, I'm not saying sell them. This is because you have to know about privacy issues and this and that.
You're right.
So.
Because I wanted them to be interactive so people felt comfortable to share. At the same time, if I let people know I'm recording, it's up to them what they want to share or not. And I think you're right. I think it is. I have recorded some, but it's a good idea moving forward to distribute them.
Yeah.
So recently I did one called The One Skill That Everyone Needs to Live a Successful and Meaningful Life. And the one skill that everyone needs above all else is to know how they feel. And most people have, forgive me, no idea how they feel. And it's not anyone's fault. Yeah. Nowhere in my 22 years, I went to some of the best schools in the nation. Nowhere did anyone teach us and talk to us. Maybe nowadays they do feelings wheels with kids and they bring in some of that emotional education. But at that time, there are, I don't know, dozens, maybe close to 100, 150 ways of labeling how you feel. And if you don't know how you feel, let me explain why it's so important, actually. We all have these buckets in our lives that we find important to us. Our career. If you don't have a career, your family, your romantic relationship, your friendships, your hobbies, your personal health, your spirituality, travel, all these things. When you don't know how you feel, it's kind of like going through the world dark.
Right.
Your feelings are an internal compass, and they're information to help us live a more aligned life. It's kind of like that game that kids would play when we were young, where we would hide something in like a pool or a room, and the other people didn't know where the object was, and then someone would walk around and they would say, "You're getting hotter, you're getting closer." If you have a friendship and you always feel anxious with this friend, or you feel like an imposter at work, or you feel really excited to go to your workout class, this is all information. Even people who work out, which workout do I want to do today? If you can really tap in and hone into how you feel, you'll make better decisions in your life. So I think, and a lot of my work, and I'm sure a lot of your work, is helping people. People have no idea. I mean, just starting there.
So how do you go about it to teach them to start feeling their feelings? It's not easy.
No, honestly, I was even going to bring in this worksheet. So there's it looks silly because it looks like it's made for kids, but there are these feeling worksheets online if you type like feeling faces.
Okay.
And one thing that I do is I do this exercise. It's like a coloring exercise, and I ask people, I want you to identify all the ways that you felt in the last 1 week. And essentially color in this box. Another way to do it is like high, medium, and low. So people start even having the words Oh, overwhelmed, that's a feeling. Oh, confused. Oh, I felt betrayed. Oh, I felt lonely. We kind of know them, but we forget about them.
Right.
So for a number of weeks, actually, sometimes with new clients, if they're agreeable, we just kind of bring this sheet out, and I teach them the vocabulary, and they learn to start to identify how they feel, and they tell the story of their week through the feelings.
Beautiful.
And over time, you start to see what's working in your life and what's not working in your life.
Amazing. I like that. I couldn't attend your last one.
That's okay.
It was last Tuesday.
It probably was last Tuesday.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Something happened. Okay. I got a phone call exactly at 8 p.m. And I said, "Oh my God, I couldn't make it." So
people have given me really good feedback, and it's great because in 1 hour, one thing that I always say is that there are 168 hours in a week. If you do 24 times 7, it's 168. We live in one of the busiest, craziest existences of humanity today, and we're so blessed, and we're so wealthy, and we live these long lives, and life has become easier in some ways, and everyone is so busy. And to me, one of the myths I'm very passionate about debunking is that a lot of people think that therapy is for, forgive me, sick people. Therapy it's a bad thing if you need to go to therapy. That means you really didn't do a good job in your life.
I mean, they're getting better, honestly.
Are they?
But
yeah, but still, I actually have to say something. I think when COVID happened, a lot of people utilized therapy more because there was a lot of anxiety, there was a lot of loneliness, there was a lot of overwhelm with what was going on. And I think nowadays, I mean, even the people I know, they kind of acknowledge, it would be good for me, but...
No, it wouldn't be good for me. I mean, it's a great thing, and it's going to be good for you.
Right.
It's never good for me.
What do you mean?
They do not want to acknowledge the fact that they need to support from an outside
It would
help.
be good for others, but I don't need it. Right?
Exactly.
And this is the thing I want to debunk. It's not so much about need, it's about want. 1 hour out of 168 hours in a week to invest in becoming the best version of yourself, to heal things, to navigate your current life, to plan for your future. So what is 1 hour? And yet it's hard for people to find the time or make the investment. That's how I view therapy. I don't view it as you need to, something's wrong with you.
Right.
I view it as you want to improve all components of your life, and it shows. People feel your energy when you're in a better place in your life, and people notice the inner work. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing is, do you have any background in coaching? Did you take any coaching?
No, I mean, I started therapy school when I was 22 years old.
Okay.
I've recently been doing some work in somatic body work. That's the new thing I'm adding to my toolbox. However, I did tutor for 12 years, so I've always had this teaching. And I always say I'm a little bit more of an active therapist. I mean, I let people talk, but I also teach because it's in me. It's how I came into the world like this.
Okay, so
why were you asking them?
I don't let them talk. No, I think people. That's what I have noticed. Feel. I mean, it's easier for them to go to a coach rather than a therapist.
I agree with that.
Because I'm going for consultation.
Right.
It's
There's
like
less stigma.
Yeah.
No,
it's
I
just
understand.
like what you were talking about. The first lady that you went to therapy with.
Yeah.
She was guiding you into what to do, and a lot of therapists, I don't know, maybe they're not allowed. They just let you talk, as a client, and a coach has the tendency to tell you, okay, this is what you have to do, and that's what you have to do.
Right.
I mean, in my practice as a psychoneurologist, a lot of times I might do most of the talking because I have to really make sure that that person can get to where they want to get to. And it's not just by reviewing your past or this or that. I mean, there are questions that you have to clear your past, or there are different techniques that we use. But I like it. I mean, to
I think
give them
the field-
direction more.
Yeah, no, I do too, but I think the field is really evolving, and there's different philosophies, even in one psychology field. There's so many different ideas of how do you help someone heal, how do you help someone grow, how do you help someone know themselves, and I don't think one is right and one is wrong.
Yeah, different ways.
But no, I've thought about it, but I think end of the day I work like a therapist, and I will do some of the internal deeper work because I think it's also important to move forward. And so I've refrained from adding that title, but maybe one day I'll change my mind. You always give me such good ideas, and I know you're like trying to help me and want my best, so I really appreciate that. I do.
My daughter is MFT too.
Sophie?
Yeah. She
I have to meet her.
Yeah.
We've just been talking about her for 10, 15 years, and I don't know who
but
she is.
she didn't like, I mean, so she was taking these, filling up her hours, basically.
Yes.
In different places, and she didn't agree with how they were running this, this place.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm not going to continue. So she quit midway. And she started doing her own thing, and she started taking coaching seminars and, certifications.
Yeah.
So after a few years, she said, no, I'm going to go back and finish my hours. So now, if that she wants to start her own practice, she has more options.
Right.
Right. She can be a coach, she can be a therapist.
Right.
So that's why, that's why I'm saying that it's good to have that coaching on the side in case you have a leeway to do things that you want to do.
Honestly, if people want to go to coach, or people want to go to therapist, or people who want to go to someone who does both, I don't care. I just say go. I just say
as
go.
long as they get the help they need.
Yeah.
So you said somatic. So, okay.
So that's a new thing I'm studying.
Where are you studying it?
There's a woman, she's actually 88 years old.
All right.
And she's just a magician healer, and somebody introduced me to her. Somebody I know has trained under her for 30 years.
Okay.
So we've done a training. The training's complete. It's like a once a year, couple of months. And the idea is that we store so much in our bodies, and talk therapy is great. Talk therapy is effective. If it wasn't working, I would not be doing this 15 years later.
Right.
I would just shift. I'm not here to waste anyone's time.
Right.
But the idea is that you do store so much emotion in your body. So they kind of, actually we did this all on Zoom too, which was quite interesting. So we're laying on the ground, like on a yoga mat or whatnot.
Right.
And one of the questions is, where do you feel tension in your body? And what is that tension kind of saying? And it's just another way of releasing things that you are holding and that you are storing that you might not be in touch with.
Right.
It makes people emotional. I think people can sort of access pain and release pain in a easier way sometimes than talk therapy. So I always sort of say to my clients, now that I've been doing this, I'm like, would you like to, we can try if you're uncomfortable at any point, and we just kind of go. And some people like it, and some people it's too much, or they're not ready. Sometimes you need a warming up to getting there, and that's okay. I kind of let people work at their pace.
I love that.
It's fun to have.
It's the best thing.
Different tools and different ways of helping people, and when people trust you, they're willing to try.
Right. I mean, we used to do that too in our school. And one of the things we did was the Gestalt therapy. So,
similar.
Yeah. Bringing it out and put it on the chair across from you and start talking. Yeah. And it's very interesting when they are talking from their mind, not from their heart, because questions are completely different and answers are completely different. So
yes, it's true.
It's very interesting.
And like something interesting, like an example is like, sometimes people will say, I feel tight in my throat. I feel like I want to cry, but I can't cry. So they're feeling it, but they don't really know like how to express it, and they're maybe timid or shy. And then you can ask them, you say to them, I want you to say the following: if I could cry, here are all the things I would cry about.
Uh-huh.
They say, if I could cry, here are all the things that I would cry about. And it just starts. It's quite interesting. And then you sort of check in with them and you're like, how's your throat? Oh, feels so much better. So
of course.
It works.
Yeah, I mean, I do not diagnose anyway, it doesn't matter. But I am very much into Louise Hay's book,
Someone was just talking to me about it last night.
Yeah. So a lot of times I tell people, if you have this pain, they come in with such a pain, like in their throat, in their back.
Yeah.
There are a few questions you can ask them. What did you want to tell someone that you didn't tell? And that's like the most basic question. And then
That's a good one.
they remember. Or you wake up with a sore throat or it's not a sore throat, it's a pained throat. It's a difference between soreness and the pain. Because soreness is what you get when you have a cold. That pain that you cannot swallow is pain, it's not sore.
I like that.
And then you say, who told you what? You have to go back and see who told them what, or what they wanted to say and they couldn't say, or somebody did something and it hurt their feelings and they wanted to talk about it but they couldn't, so it comes here.
Yeah.
So
It all gets trapped.
Exactly.
Right. And that's it's going back to what we were talking about. One of the most important things is to know how you feel. And when I did the webinar, another thing that I talked about is healthy coping strategies versus unhealthy coping strategies. Should we talk
Please,
about that a little bit?
Yes, okay. I love that.
So a coping strategy is essentially a way of reducing the unpleasant emotions that we're feeling.
Okay. The coping plan.
The coping strategies is a way of reducing unpleasant emotions. We have unpleasant emotions that we feel, and we have pleasant emotions.
Right.
It's a way of re-regulating our nervous system. And a lot of time we actually when someone asks you how you feel, oftentimes we don't feel one thing. We answer one thing.
Right.
But the truth is you feel a plethora of emotions at the same time, maybe 5, maybe 7, at different intensities, high, medium, low. And what was I going to say? When your sympathetic nervous system gets activated, we go into fight or flight. And coping strategies are things that we can do to help reduce the intensity of those emotions and activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So some of those things include, and what I did in my workshop is it's very important for me that all my clients have a list of coping strategies that they will utilize. Because if I ask you what are coping strategies, you might say meditation, you might say yoga, and then I'll ask you, well, do you do those? And you're like, no. And I say, why? You say, well, I don't like those. Okay, great. Let's find ones that work for you. There's over 99 coping strategies. It can be adult coloring book. It can be going to a rage room. It can be punching a pillow, listening to music, dancing, going for a walk, exercising, going to the movies. Like, people just aren't in touch with what those are. And so when your emotional state is heightened, it's good to have tools that you know how to utilize. It could even be taking a shower for an extended period of time. Sometimes people get lost in the shower and they don't know where they went. What's happening is they're calming down their nervous system.
Yeah.
As opposed to unhealthy coping strategies, the more obvious ones would be substance abuse, drugs, alcohol, binge eating, starving, skipping meals, what else? Gambling, any sort of addiction. Also yelling, procrastinating, blaming, self-harm. We all do a bit of all of them,
course,
right?
Yes.
But just bringing the awareness, and then somebody said to me in the workshop, they said, I go to work every day, and they explain the work, and they said, and I often feel a lot of these unpleasant emotions that I created on this worksheet that you had us do. And then they said, and I use the coping strategies, whatever hers are, and she said, and I don't feel better. And so, first I said, I kind of asked, what's going on in your work that you're even having all these heightened emotions? And then later I said something like, coping strategies are there to calm our nervous systems, but they don't necessarily fix the underlying problem. And then she recognized and she said, you're right. There's some actions that I have to take in my life that I have not taken, and these feelings will not go away until I make different choices. And I was like, and she was like, thank you, and she just ended the call.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the most thing. I mean, as soon as you become aware of what's going on.
Awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness is everything. And that's one of my mantras, is the importance of knowing yourself. Knowing yourself. Part of it is knowing how you feel, knowing what you believe in, knowing what you value, knowing what you want to wear. You know, sometimes clients come in, especially younger ones, not only younger ones though, they don't know if they want iced tea or lemonade.
Of course.
They don't know if they want the pink sweater or the blue sweater.
Yeah.
If you're unclear about these small things, how are you going to pick a life partner? How are you going to pick your purpose in this career?
It doesn't change as you get older.
Those skills, a lot of people struggle with indecision because there's been so much noise. Do this, don't do this, this is right, this is wrong, and something inside of them that you have, everyone has that spark. It's just a matter of going inside and accessing it. And so when you have a better idea of who you are, I'm not just saying, okay, be that person. Inside, we're also hardwired to grow. Use what you know as a foundation. That doesn't mean you're going to like everything about yourself. We're here to evolve. We're here to grow, but you have to live and be really who you authentically are in order to then become the person that you want to be. And this is really what I believe therapy is. I wish I could almost cross off the word therapy and like call it something else. Not necessarily even coaching. I just want to come up with a new title for what I do and what I believe in. Yeah, self-awareness, growth. I don't know.
You can use self-awareness. I mean,
I'm gonna sit and think about a little bit about what is this that I'm so passionate about.
You'll find it.
Okay.
Because you know what it is.
Yeah, I just haven't sat down and thought about it enough.
In a moment, it's just gonna come. About grounding ourselves. How do you go about teaching it to someone? People cannot. I mean.
Is there a specific grounding technique that you are referring to?
No, I'm just going through my notes. But before we go there, my coping strategy was before going shopping or going to get a haircut or something like that.
Yeah, that's some kind of self-care.
Swimming. I love jumping in the pool. Beautiful. And then just go for half an hour, 45 minutes, just swim and just be with myself. That's like the best time I have with myself. Better than even meditation sometimes. Yeah. So I mean,
it's important to have a list.
Yeah.
Right. You don't just have one coping strategy and then you always go swimming. But how I help people create that list is I honestly just give them like a sheet and I start reading it to them and I give them 3 categories. Actually, first we start with the coping strategies that they know. So they're going to give me a list, maybe 10 max is what they can get to. So we put them in categories. I often use these coping strategies. I sometimes use these coping strategies. I rarely use these coping strategies. Then you start to understand, I only really have 2 coping strategies. Like, people don't know that talking to a friend is considered a coping strategy. As you said, going out to get a coffee can be a coping strategy. And sometimes people they're not really clear on what's a hobby and what's a coping strategy. So we can sort of help them to differentiate. And then I honestly give them lists and we look through and I say, which ones do you think you might want to add to your list of coping? I mean, I have clients who go bird watching. I didn't even know what bird watching was myself. I have a client who likes to go take a hammock in a park and read a book. Great. For someone else, they're not going to read a book as a coping strategy. I think TV can be a coping strategy. I think, as I said, the movies. I think even some of your workouts can be. Sometimes it's a matter of the mindset. Oh, I'm feeling escalated. I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling frightened. What would help me right now? You know what would help me right now? Laying down. A nap. That's a coping strategy.
Yeah,
yes, it can also be avoidance. You have to know the difference.
Yeah, but you have to listen to your body. A lot of times we do not know how to listen to our body.
That's correct.
So that's another problem.
You have to know how to listen. You have to know what's going on. And then you have to have tools as to, okay, here are my options. What feels good? It's food. I recently made this Instagram video. And I said, isn't it ironic how we know when we're hungry? We know when we need to go to the bathroom. We know when we're thirsty. We know when we're tired. But we don't know if we're confused. We don't know if we're bored. We don't know if we're discouraged. We don't know the difference between discouraged, disappointed. People don't know the difference between I'm upset and I'm enraged. Sometimes people will tell me I'm upset. Really deep down, they're very angry, but angry has taboo and stigma as well. So, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
We're talking now. You said
coping strategies.
So,
I forgot.
finding your coping strategy, basically.
Yes.
So, this is coping strategy versus.
I wasn't gonna say versus hobbies. Oh, I was gonna say. People don't even know. I said, isn't it ironic that we know these bodily, physical needs of ours, but we don't know how we feel? But do you want to know the truth? We also don't really know our body physical needs. Yeah. We're not even really in tune about when we're tired, when we're hungry, what we're hungry for.
Yeah.
Are we hungry for protein? Are we hungry for something sweet? We think we know and that's really, again, what therapy creates is the inner knowing. It's like what I said earlier, it's an internal compass. It's a way of walking in the light and not walking in the dark. Sometimes that might make life a little bit more difficult. You might realize some friendships aren't for you. You might need to set some boundaries with people.
That's not difficult. That's a blessing.
Ultimately, I think that's one of people's biggest fears, though, is if I go to therapy, what am I going to lose? But I think it's if you go to therapy,
what are you going to gain?
How much are you going to gain?
Yeah. I never think about losing. And remember, I always talk about these things in this show. If you lose some kind of friendship, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's it.
Something that I often say is there's 31 flavors of ice cream for a reason. This is a reference to Baskin Robbins. They used to call themselves 31 flavors.
Yeah.
There's 31 flavors of ice cream for a reason. We're not all designed to like the same ones. I remember many years ago, a group of friends, like 10 years ago, we were out and somebody said, did you ever go on the date with that guy? What happened? And the guy and the girl said, yeah, we went out once. He said I wasn't for him. And my other friend came back and said, well, screw him. And I thought to myself, why screw him? Maybe our friend is strawberry, and maybe he likes pistachio-flavored ice cream. We're not all designed and meant to be compatible with one another. We want everyone to like us. If I said to you, if you walk into a room and there's 100 people, how many of them do you want to like you? Most of us want everyone to like us. At the same time, we're very comfortable liking 3 to 5% of people.
Yeah.
And wanting to build relationships and spend our time with and go out with. So we have to also understand not everyone is going to like us, and that's okay. That's not how the world was designed. Not every career is going to be for you. Not every romantic partner is going to be for you. That's okay. Not every outfit is going to be for the same person. That's why we have so many choices.
So you went on something that I want to ask you, actually.
Sure.
Your group of, your age group, I have noticed that a lot of you, especially ladies, haven't hooked up with someone as a marriage type.
Okay. Yes.
And it's very interesting because I see younger groups.
Yes.
Now they're getting married. My younger son, he's 28. His friends are getting married. He's even thinking about, oh my God, I would like to have a family.
It's changed.
But for some reason, you're, between 35 to 40 age group.
Yeah.
They don't. But there is another problem that I see is you get introduced to someone and your friend dated that person before.
I think it depends on who,
okay.
I know. I think in some friend groups, they actually will say, I have friends who have said, I went on a date. It wasn't for me. I think it would be a really good fit for so-and-so. This is like a more mature level.
Exactly.
Yes.
What's going to happen if you went out with somebody and like the 31 flavors?
Yes.
You guys didn't match, but that might be good for somebody else, even though you don't know it. So if your friend comes and says, I just met this guy, are you going to go based on your experience? I know you won't, but
Are you
it's
asking?
on your.
Are you asking? Are we willing to give someone a chance if our friend went out with that person and it wasn't the right fit for that person?
Exactly.
I think it depends on the level of maturity of the person.
Yeah, I mean,
And
but you have to give people a chance
I agree.
because you never know.
I agree.
You never know how you guys click with each other.
I agree.
You know.
I totally support that, and I think it's hard when you're in an insular community. At the same time, this is one of the biggest reasons people should not gossip, because there's a truth and then there's interpretations of the truth.
Of course.
So, and the truth really only one entity knows, and that's the creator.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I think when you develop and you grow yourself, you come to a place where you said, yeah, my friend went out with him and said X, Y, and Z. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's true. If for whatever reason I feel or others feel this person is a good match for me, I'd like to give it a try. And if that friend isn't going to continue to be your friend, I think it's different if they dated 5 years, 10 years, that's but
different.
if it's a few dates,
then
outgrow your friend.
Yeah. This wasn't in our talk, but it's something that I see
There's a lot
every
going
day.
on right now in the community, and I think there's a lot of reasons for it, and I'm not here to say what's right and wrong, but I really go back. You didn't really ask me directly, but I'm going to answer to you a little bit directly. I'll say two reasons why I think there are so many single people in this 30 to 45, I'd say, age range, right? And the younger generation, I think a lot of their families, and they got scared seeing what has happened to my generation, and they're a little bit rebounding or doing...
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, my opinion. You're welcome to have your own.
Yeah.
I think two things. I think a lot of... And I can even say in the non-Persian community, right? Because a lot of my clients are actually not Persian.
Right.
I think a lot of them saw the marriages and the relationships...
2 minutes? Oh my God. Okay. Sorry.
They saw the relationships of the older generations, and they saw a lot of unhealthy parts, and they said, we don't want that.
Yeah,
so
because
we're going to hold the high water for something better.
They didn't seek therapy. They didn't... Okay, that generation, our generation...
Your generation. Your parents' generation.
Exactly. That was when therapy was huge taboo. You couldn't go to a therapist. That's when they would say, oh my God, this person has to be crazy or something.
Go to a mental institution.
Yeah,
I heard these things.
Not at your age group,
right.
You know?
Right.
And you guys have to understand that if your parents did something, they did it because they didn't know better. It's like our parents did something and they didn't know better.
Right.
So forgive and move on.
Right.
And live your own life.
I think a lot of people have fear, number one. Number two, I think there was a time when men and women needed one another. Women needed men to support them financially. Even nowadays, men don't need women either. You want food? There's a delivery app. You want your house clean? There's a cleaning lady. You want sex? There's dating apps. Like, there's a way in which they're not as dependent on one another, and people are kind of like, well, I'm going to wait till the greatest one comes along. But all of this to say, I think there would be more marriages if people did more work on themselves. Because one of the complaints I hear from women my age, and they're outstanding, they're put together, they have careers, they're kind people, they're fit, they're attractive, all these things, they make wonderful mothers, and they say, forgive me, the guys don't measure up. It's hard to be with someone that you don't look up to, especially as a woman. It's important to be with someone who you respect, and so I really don't mean to call the men out, because the women have their own work to do. But I think the more that you invest in yourself, there will be more marriages in the community.
That's very true. Actually, we talk about this. I have another MFT guest, Elia Tami.
I know her name, but I don't know her.
She's wonderful. She's been here like almost 15 times, and she's going to be back on the 28th again.
Awesome.
And so, we talk about getting to know yourself, getting to know who you are, work on yourself before you get married. I mean, this is what's so important. Even if you do not work, I mean, you did not work on yourself when, I mean, before marriage, do it together.
Do it now.
Yeah.
At any age.
Doesn't matter, exactly.
I had someone ask me, he's 81 years old. He said, "Can you be my therapist yesterday?"
Oh,
81 years old.
That's
like,
amazing.
it is never too late. And
yeah.
it's a better investment in any of the material. My name is Chanel. I understand what people, you know, like, but the better investment is the internal one. And
Definitely.
that's really the biggest message. And maybe another time we'll talk more about
Yeah.
marriage and relationships and what's going on in the community.
Yeah.
I think that's a talk for another day. Cause
You should.
we're
You
short
should
on
come
time.
back because
I'd love to.
I mean, I would
If
like
you would
to
have
see
me, I'd
your
love to.
view.
Okay, let's do it.
Because you're in it.
I'd love to share.
You
We
know,
can have a
that's
we can have a
different.
conversation. I'd love to hear another perspective as well.
Yeah. All right. Mariam June, are we really done?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was short. Okay. Please, everyone, share this amazing video with your loved ones. And Chanel is, where's your office? Beverly Hills or Westwood? Or
Only virtual.
Oh, virtual?
Only virtual
Even
right now.
better. All
Yeah,
right.
so anywhere in California.
So
Please feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do, if there's any way I can help you, even if it's a referral, an idea. All conversations are confidential. I'm really grateful to everyone who listened and listened the whole way through, and
yeah.
infinitely grateful
you.
to you. Thank you. This
so
was so much fun.
Thank you.
Flew by.
Yeah. So we hopefully see Chanel in a few weeks. And till then, until next week, I say goodbye.
Have a beautiful week.
Yeah.
بعد از سالها تلاش برای نجات یک رابطه زناشویی، گاهی به این نتیجه می رسیم که جدایی تنها راه برای نجات خود، فرزندان و ساختن زندگی سالمتر است. اگر جدایی را تجربه کرده اید، احتمالاً ترس، نگرانی، تردید و احساساتی را می شناسید که گاهی تمام وجود انسان را در بر می گیرد. بازسازی و شکوفایی پس از جدایی. روز جمعه 28 آگوست ساعت 1 بعد از ظهر بار دیگه مهمون دکتر نوشین نیکفرجام در برنامه دانش و آگاهی در چهره‌ها از شبکه عصر امروز خواهم بود تا درباره این مسیر دشوار اما امیدبخش و راه‌های بازسازی زندگی و حتی رسیدن به شکوفایی شخصی گفتگو کنیم. از شما دعوت می‌کنم بیننده این برنامه باشید. الیت همین هستم، روان درمانگر و مشاور ازدواج و خانواده با تخصص در روابط پرتنش. متشکرم.